In a city shrouded in the darkness of evil and crime, the people cry out for a hero, someone to fight for justice and restore peace.
The people need look no further than their own living rooms, where heroes fight evil every day on the Sega Genesis.
Superhero games are traditionally awful, but there are a few out there that don't make us want to drink Drano.
Like Captain America and the Avengers, released on the Sega Genesis in 1993. With Independence Day coming up and a Captain America movie coming out, now's the perfect time to revisit our favorite patriotic super soldier.
The Captain fights Red Skull's army of robots wielding his famous red, white, and blue shield with the help of his friends, the Avengers.
Of course, we all know Iron Man, who can hover momentarily and shoot lasers.
Vision, who is an artificial life form with the same moves as Iron Man.
And Hawkeye, who fires a bow and arrow and whose occupation is listed as security guard.
Superheroes gotta make a living.
The game has two kinds of levels, kind of like Alien Storm.
It's not triplicated fun, it's duplicated fun.
There are classic style beat 'em up levels where you go around punching, lasering, arrowing, and shielding the crap out of bad guys and picking up projectiles like rocks, tires, and soda cans.
Then there are these shooter levels where you fire at enemies while flying through space or swimming under the sea. These levels are incredibly easy. Just switch on your turbo and you can literally just hold the button down. You don't even have to move. I like these levels because I can play them with one hand while using my other hand to pet Edison.
Of course, if you don't have a turbo controller like me, your button hand is going to get pretty tired.
You also spend a lot of time just floating there and waiting for more enemies to show up.
For something to come through, I'm hoping I can write a real sweet tune.
While you're flying around, you can pick up little blue globs of energy, or big W's, which summon Wasp. Wasp seems to do absolutely nothing. She doesn't protect you from damage, she doesn't help you fight, she doesn't raise your energy, she just sticks to you like a parasite, follows you around for a few minutes. Well, what's the point?
The controls are a little off. If you get too close to enemies, they pretty much just kill you, so it's best to keep your distance and fire projectiles at them. But doing so requires pressing two buttons at once, and it doesn't always work. Sometimes you end up just diving into them and committing suicide.
Iron Man and Vision can also float and fire lasers in midair, which is easier to accomplish, but difficult to aim, and it really only makes purchase about 30% of the time.
But the game does have its charm, with its broken English subtitles littered with excessive exclamation marks, and of course that crystal clear Sega Genesis sound.
It sounds like one guy did all of the voiceovers, but he reads some lines and not others. It's like they could only afford a 15-minute recording session.
Don't disturb us.
Why should it go well?
You can't escape.
You will be the one escaping.
Where's the laser?
Ask the police.
You came here to die. Really? I thought I came here to do my taxes.
I'll kill you all. All two of you.
See my power! When you attack, you see funny little comic book words like blam, plam, smash, and crack with a K. And of course, waboom!
When you die, your character says, I can't move! And when you run out of lives, Captain America tells you to be a hero and save America. Well, I can't, I just died.
Occasionally, you'll hear the captain say, okay, go, for no reason. If you hear this while you're fighting a boss, don't assume it's because you beat him. Learn from my fail.
The captain thanks all of his friends by name, except Submariner. When he tells you the bad guys have gone into the sea, the captain just says, thank you. Who is Submariner anyway? Like a poor man's Aquaman?
In the sea, you fight what I can only describe as an Octobot. Isn't that Scooter, the robot from Alien Storm, working the controls?
Hey look, we're walking by Data East headquarters. Let's go in and lodge a complaint.
Your energy is measured with an actual number, and when it gets to 0, you're dead. Occasionally, Quicksilver will bring you some energy, but the game doesn't have the decency to refill it at the beginning of each level, and there are no continues, which means this game is nearly impossible to beat.
It definitely can't be beat with 2 players because you share lives. The game doesn't even have the decency to give the second player a second set of lives.
This game is indecent, period.
So we like to be dirty, rotten cheaters and use that wonderful invention from Galoob, the Game Genie.
So we can actually make it to Red Skull himself. He starts out as just a guy in a business suit, then reveals that he's actually inside this fishbowl thing, and now we have to fight a giant robot version of him.
Yes, it's another trap. You stupid men! We'll teach you the meaning of justice!
He's actually pretty easy to beat. And at the end, you walk off into the sunset with a group of smiling kids.
That's nice.
Avengers, assemble!
The 1991 arcade version of Captain America and the Avengers is vastly superior in graphics and sound. It blows the Genesis version completely out of the water.
Look at the beautiful backgrounds. The undersea level is my favorite.
The Octobot is called Mech Taco.
Octo Taco.
Controls are much better, and you can actually get up close to enemies to punch them.
Look, a cola machine. That's where all those sodas were coming from.
Street cola.
There are a few other minor differences, like how Whirlwind carries a bag of money. Yeah, you can tell it's money because it has a big dollar sign on it.
And Red Skull actually smokes a cigarette. You'd never see that on a home console.
Or this cop car on fire.
Why should it goes well? Oof.
The onomatopoeias are even weirder, like swoosh, twack, watak, and WHHT. I don't even know how to pronounce that.
The best part is you can refill your energy at any time by inserting quarters.
So it's much easier to beat Red Skull's red ass.
Speaking of skulls, next up is The Punisher, released on the Sega Genesis in 1994. We're playing it on our Sega Nomad, because we can.
I am Nomad.
This game has a lot going for it. Classic style beat 'em up moves, a variety of different weapons, entertaining cutscenes, and badass heroes the Punisher and Nick Fury.
This game is the baddest of the badass. I mean, check out the story.
New York, a jungle of steel and concrete, where predators of all kinds mercilessly prey on all, anytime, anywhere.
In Central Park, U.S. Marine Captain Frank Castle enjoys a picnic with his family. On that day, the Castle family accidentally discovered a brutal mob killing. Fearing any witnesses, the killers gunned down the hapless family.
On that day, Frank Castle's family died.
On that day, Frank Castle died.
On that day, I was born, to avenge them and others like them. I am the Punisher.
If you're guilty, you're dead.
That's just good writing.
This game should be awesome. There's only one problem.
It's the most difficult Genesis game ever. Samuel L. Jackson would call it an evil effing game.
You have to play it on Expert too, or you don't get a real ending. And Expert is impossible to beat.
We're not exaggerating. It's literally impossible.
Every single enemy takes forever to kill. I mean, they take even more hits than the bosses.
And they just keep coming, Sarge. Wave after wave. Just when you think you're ready to move on to the next part of the level, a couple hundred more come at you.
It just kept coming, Sarge! Wave after wave! It was horrible!
They throw knives at you, slice you with swords, and shoot flames at you, and they just never stop.
You're expected to fight through these constant throngs of enemies and beat Kingpin with only 3 lives and no continues. You can't even earn more lives throughout the game. You're constantly picking up items and completing bonus levels that give you millions of points, but they don't get you anything.
And when the points are tallied up at the end of each level, they're the loudest thing you've ever heard.
Captain America, your energy isn't refilled at the beginning of each level. Indecent.
So, needless to say, this is another game that makes us thank the good Lord the Game Genie was invented.
Now we have infinite lives and infinite grenades, which are very handy for getting the hordes of bad guys off your back so you can just end the level already.
You can also punch, jump kick, and do a special attack that uses some of your energy, and makes Punisher and Fury sound like they have problems.
Despite its legendary difficulty and the fact that, even with the Game Genie, it takes almost 2 hours to beat, the game does have a few redeeming qualities.
There are a lot of cool weapons you can pick up, like guns, knives you can throw right into people's faces, swords, pipes, baseball bats, and even flamethrowers.
And occasionally a gun will appear in your hand, and you can turn on your turbo and just riddle everyone with bullets.
Ooh, I'm Jen. I have a turbo controller. I can auto-fire.
But for some reason, the guns keep randomly disappearing. You can pick them up off the ground, but you can't actually use them. Now I have a gun, now I don't. Now I do, now I don't. Why not just let us keep them for the whole level?
It also has some pretty hilarious subtitles like, "You're really funny for a couple of dead guys."
Hey, you son of a ...
There are some weird enemies in this game, like these frog-like creatures that may or may not be women.
And this robot, first he's pretty boy, then he's pretty head, then he's pretty legs.
Then he's pretty dead.
Watch out, he explodes.
At the end you get to fight Kingpin for about 2 seconds, before he disappears and sends more of his goons after you.
When you finally kill him, you find out that after all that, he might have escaped because his body was never found.
Of course, if you just played it on easy, Kingpin says, "Why don't you try normal mode, tough guy?"
Why don't you go on a diet, fat guy?